What would happen if the king of the monsters stepped into the wrong universe? Now finding the new alpha of this world, Superman, with his allies, the Justice League. Would the Justice League pack up Godzilla like a shirt and save the world? Or is this battle gonna end up like the crossover comic? What's good, Titans? It's your most hated power scarer, King Charles, and we did it! We did it! We hit 1,000 subscribers! Y'all gotta be dancing right now. I'm mad grateful. And to pay y'all back with the love y'all showed me, this video is dedicated to you guys. Okay, but for real this time. We're gonna go over 4 battles today, each requested by you lovely people, and I have a surprise for each fight, so definitely stick around for each battle. But with anywho, let's jump into the first fight. This battle was suggested by this lovely person here, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for the suggestion. The battle between the Justice League, specifically Superman, and Monsterverse Godzilla have been thrown around for quite often on YouTube, but most videos I've seen lack to show respect to either one of the parties, often one of which gets downplayed in favor to make the other look significantly better. But we're not doing that here. Who really wins? Let's dive into Godzilla first. Godzilla easily eats nukes like me and my cuz eating Reese's Puffs, easily placing him past city destructive levels of power. But come on, man, that's downplayed. Let's get into the juice. Godzilla was able to blast a beam into the center of Earth. This could be interpreted in many different ways, going from mountain busting powers all the way to small planet. No, Pluto, you are not average size. But you really thought that was it? Nah, let's bring up Monarch Legacy of Affairs. In this show, the monster's energy levels are compared to gamma ray bursts, along with statements from the show and other Monsterverse material suggesting the monsters could wipe out planet Earth, and even some calcs to support this. The Monsterverse can reach planet levels of power. With Godzilla being the top tier, this obviously applies to him. With higher ends for this methodology, he gets him into large planet. However, just a drop of Hollow Earth energy was capable of producing 30 exahertz or 15 petatons of energy, meaning the full Hollow Earth energy can actually get up to 43 ronatons of TNT. Meaning Godzilla has at least Dwarf Star level of power since he's directly compared to the Hollow Earth in terms of energy. Now there are some implications that can get the Monsterverse even higher, but we'll save that a little bit for later. Let's move on to the Justice League. After watching the disappointment that was Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom, I lost all hope. Ain't no way this entire cinematic universe ended on this. I was distraught. If they're going out this sorry, they might as well be a Zilla victim. But to my surprise, they're actually kind of valid. Before the Man of Steel aired, there was the Doomsday. No, not this fraud, the real OG, who battled Steppenwolf, causing the moon to break apart. This feat gets to 17 exatons, which is multi-continental plus. But hey, the moon ain't put back together, so you can argue they override the GBE of the moon, which will grant moon level AP. That's not the limit of stepping on the wolf's power. He's been compared to young Darkseid, who has implications he destroyed planets without the mother boxes. Meaning Wolfgang Mozart can be argued planetary. Why am I yapping about stepping on a canine so much? Well, multiple members of the Justice League can combat him, Wonder Woman and Aquaman being the closest to his power. But he's not the most powerful character in the Justice League movie, let alone the verse. Let's talk about the GOAT. Superman absolutely bullies Steppenwolf, sending him flying like he's in a Cardi album. Depending where you scale Steppenwolf, Supes would just upscale by a lot. Steppenwolf's killing blow not even landing a scratch on him. And then Clark had the nerve to say, not impressed? Buddy, that's
embarrassing.
With Steppenwolf being a stepping mat for Superman. I'm here all day, folks. Thank you. Superman can be argued to be a tier higher. So if you want to put Steppenwolf at multi-continental or moon, well, I can argue Superman to be planetary, and even the Justice League cut version of this agrees, with Bruce Wayne outright stating Superman is stronger than a planet. Then, for further context, we have the Scarab from Blue Beetle. Good movie, by the way. Someone should have watched it, because apparently nobody watched. The Scarab in the opening of the film showing to blow up planets very casually, and we have now implications and statements from Snyder and The Rock, who is an executive producer on the DCEU, very high authority over this, and he outright claims and states that Superman is the most powerful thing in the universe, which would put him above the Scarab. Now, does that further the planetary meta? Yup. But how powerful was the Scarab blowing up these planets? Well, let's just say they were getting to large planet to dwarf star. With the Scarab's power being calced to 2 ronnotons to 67 ronnotons, it's pretty impressive, and Superman will be stronger than this via author statements. Yikes, the gains on this man. The Justice League members boast impressive speed and abilities too. Superman flying out of the atmosphere in mere seconds, granting high, massively hypersonic speed. Their travel speed ain't the only thing that's speedy fast. Superman's heat vision is confirmed to be light speed, and characters like Wonder Woman and Batman has reacted to this beam, calcs getting them relativistic reaction time. Superman is confirmed to be as fast as his attacks, so he would have light speed, combat, and reaction timing. That's not the end of the Justice League speed. There's this absolute criminal right here who can run at the speed of light and actually much faster. Flash can actually reverse time, giving him immeasurable speed, but this ability has its limits. Superman may not scale to Flash's full speed, but he's still able to keep up with the Flash while other members are completely frozen. The abilities the Justice League possess are heat manipulation, technology manipulation, Cyborg being able to hack into any devices. He can even hack into advanced technology that's considered magic, and can even summon all the nukes in the world. Probably not the best idea in this scenario. The Justice League has telepathy, mental manipulation via Wonder Woman's lasso, high speeds, electricity manipulation, ice manipulation, and more. The Justice League is loaded with abilities, and their power is nothing to frown at. But now is the time. How will they fare against the King of the Monsters? Alright, let's set the stage, right? The battle will take place in the same abandoned city in the Justice League movie. Knowing Godzilla and Superman, they wouldn't want to run the fades in the most populated city on Earth and accidentally cause casualties. Batman, let's be real, will be no help here, at least physically. He most likely will take the approach he took with Doomsday, stay in the background and assist. Cyborg will be complete trash. After seeing him try this on Superman, I know he would be cooked here too. Mostly this battle would be between Godzilla and Superman, and for the safety of the other members, it's best they stay out the way and provide assists. In lower metas, I don't see the Justice League winning. With the members scaling from 17 exatons to moon level, that wouldn't mean all that much to a small planet Godzilla. He'll just stand there and eat all of their attacks and throw Superman's own line back at him.
Not impressed.
Godzilla got it in the lower metas, but what about the planetary metas? Well, we have Darkseid claiming he wiped out a multitude of planets, and Bruce also stated Superman is stronger than the planet, but these are a bit vague, and at base value, we can definitely say Superman would at least be 60 zetatons. If he's higher, it's undetermined. Meanwhile, Godzilla has calcs getting him deep into planetary, with over 300 zetatons, which is over 5 times the power Superman would have with 60. Okay, what about their large planet stuff? Things switch up now. Large planet for Monsterverse is about 2.7 yattatons, enough power to splatter Saturn and Uranus. And as for the Justice League, Superman would be 2 ronnotons, a huge jump from 2 yattatons. So big of a jump in power, Superman one-shots. One clean left hook and Godzilla's gone. The rest of the Justice League member wouldn't even need to be there. But what about the last meta I mentioned, Dwarf Star? Who's taking the W there? Well, with Monsterverse Godzilla, we established he can get 43 ronnotons. And as for the Justice League, once again, really just Superman, 67 ronnotons. So in AP, Superman would be stronger, but not necessarily strong enough to one-shot. So it'll have to be more of a fight this time. Batman ain't doing nothing. Even with the Batjet, still ain't doing nothing. But Batman's analysis is incredible. He was able to decipher multiple members of the Justice League's secret identities and help innovate technology that dwarfs anything else in Gotham. I believe that Batman takes the coach approach here in a fight and he just deciphers that Godzilla's weakness is his gills. He can instruct the relevant members to target there. Superman with his higher AP could do some really good damage to Godzilla's gills. If you think Wonder Woman is at least a little bit relevant to Superman, she and Aquaman could put in the work too. Flash likely will not attack Godzilla and will serve as a great distraction to Goji. Flash would move too fast for Monsterverse Godzilla to land any good attacks on him, which would give the other members good openings for attacks. And as for Cyborg, he's dying. He's gonna try this on Godzilla and we all know how that's gonna end. But overall, the Justice League should take care of this mid-difficulty if they play their cards right, with Superman hard carrying. And yeah, Justice League win.
Churros? What about the meta?
The meta? What are you talking about? Oh, the meta. Now there's one more meta I didn't mention for Monsterverse, and that's his stellar meta. You see, Godzilla's iconic atomic breath is described as the most powerful weapon in nature, and well, I guess that makes sense on Earth, right? King Ghidorah can create Category 6 hurricanes, his atomic breath can crack into the Earth's mantle, so yeah, of course he'd be the strongest thing on the planet Earth. Oh, but it goes past Earth. Yeah. Godzilla's atomic breath being directly compared to blue stars, and their energy bursts being compared to gamma ray bursts. In fact, he's actually supposed to be more powerful than these things. Now the Justice League stands no chance with Godzilla. He's vaporizing all of them. Flash could essentially just avoid everything and rewind time to save anyone who got blicked, but he can't do it indefinitely. Flash will eventually run out of energy, he needs his carbs, or he'll just rewrite the timeline to the point they're not fighting Godzilla anymore, they're fighting Clifford the Big Red Dog! Superman may also avoid Godzilla's attack with his really high speeds, but he can't do any damage to him. It'll be like Deadpool with Colossus. Deadpool being faster than Colossus, but he lacked the AP to do anything significant. Their best bet is relying on Haxes. And let's see what Haxes they have that can do something to Godzilla. Well, Wonder Woman's Lasso of Truth. Yeah, that's not really doing none. Aquaman. He could communicate and even control sea life. Godzilla being an aquatic creature, this makes sense. So, maybe he could tell Godzilla to go home. Yeah, let's be real. That ain't gonna work either. Godzilla has an alpha mentality and refuses to submit, even to Ghidorah's call, who controlled all the other Titans, and Godzilla was weakened at this point, and he still rejected it. Yeah, I hate to say it, but with Godzilla's stellar scaling, he wipes the floor with the Justice League. Godzilla wins in the lower metas, while Justice League takes some W's in the higher celestial bodies metas. But at the high end, Godzilla wins. LeBron versus Michael Jordan, Goku or Naruto, Messi or Ronaldo, Mario versus Sonic, King Churros or Goji Chronic. That's definitely a debate people have, right? No? Okay. Jokes aside, in media, we as fans tend to compare some of our favorite athletes and characters to one another. And in the Godzilla community, we have two GOATs, Final Wars and Heisei Gojira. Who is the strongest Godzilla? That is what this lovely subscriber here wants to know. Well, your boy King Churros.
Hold up, Churros. This is your video? No, I'm sorry. I'm had to take over your channel today and steal your 1,000 subscribers and import them to my channel.
Carl, what are you doing here?
Need a little bit of clout. Thought I'd come over, drop by, steal your subs, and leave.
For one, L-Mans, but, since you're here, you want to tag team this matchup?
Yeah, sure, I'm down with that.
So this will be an equal stats fight, since I went over both of their scaling 1,000 times, including this very own video. So it wouldn't be all that interesting if I did make it unequal stats anyways. So both parties will have a fair chance of beating one another. This fight will take place in a random city in Japan, so let's go. Heisei and Final Wars will likely have a standoff. Final Wars will go in for the combos, but knowing Heisei, he'll likely spam with atomic breath.
Speaking of Heisei, we're going to talk about Heisei's hacks, which are very good for this fight. Probably the most important thing that Heisei has here is his adaptation. He could adapt to Super Mecha and Space, and pretty much every other Kaiser that he fought in the Heisei era, he was able to adapt to. And just like against Final Wars, he would just adapt so Final Wars become stronger. Sure, Final Wars can, box him and all that, which Heisei, isn't as good at. But that adaptation is certainly going to be a problem for Final Wars if his opponent is just going to go stronger than him in a matter of seconds to even a minute in a fight. It's not really going to matter.
Yeah, if Final Wars was able to endure all the atomic breath barrage or even dodge a few, he'll get up close and throw the hands, giving Heisei that work. Heisei's shaking in his boots right now, realizing he has to throw hands for once. Oh wait, no, Heisei don't gotta learn karate because he'll just atomic pulse, blowing Final Wars back from giving him the Thanos special. Yeah, it's not looking too good for my boy Final Wars. Final Wars has some great hand-to-hand combat, fast agility, and good battle tactics. Heisei is loaded with hacks and abilities, and he can give Final Wars that Orochimaru special and absorb his energy and power himself up, power up his own physical attacks as well, or just beam spam him, which is very in character for him to do. And Heisei has many special beams at that. May I mention the Spiral Beam, Uranium Heat Ray, Spiral Heat Ray, Infinite Heat Ray? Take your pick. And yeah, Final Wars does have some of these atomic breaths, but to do his spiral, he has to channel his energy and plant himself to do a really big attack. Meanwhile, Heisei can do the exact same thing in like a split second. And then Final Wars Burning Spark G-Ray seems like he had to wind up to do it and beat down his opponent, as he had to beat down Kaiser Ghidorah to pull it off. Or maybe he could have pulled it off the first second. He just wanted to beat down Kaiser, but none of that's really stated. So in character, I would believe Final Wars will try to beat down Heisei first before he uses it. So that means Heisei gets a chance to use his other stuff like the Infinite Heat Ray. So I'm gonna be real, guys. I think with everything Final Wars has, all the atomic breaths, all the abilities, all the adaptation, his great regeneration. I mean, Biolante was literally stabbing into him, making him bleed all over the place, and then he's just okay. That's another thing Final Wars had to get past. There's just so much that Heisei has that I don't really see Final Wars getting past, and I would say even in equal stats, Heisei would win 8 to 9 10s out of times. What do you think, Cog?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you here. Like, with his adaptation and regeneration, even if Final Wars was to, overcome his adaptation, how is he going to get through his insane regeneration that was able to heal from stab wounds in mere seconds, regenerate a destroyed brain after absorbing enough energy? There's not much that Final Wars really has here, to counter any of that, or just anything of his own, that's strong enough. And if you were to argue, just him beating the crap out of Heisei's just gonna adapt and become stronger.
Okay, now I know it seems bad for Final Wars, and although we did say our verdict, I'm pretty sure the person who suggested this video was Team Final Wars, so I'm not gonna let this person down, because hey, I love Final Wars too. Cog, don't you rock with Final Wars?
Yeah, I'd say I like Final Wars.
So let's try to give Final Wars a W here. Let's see what he can do. So I was watching a video from Lonks Takes about Batman versus Goku in equal stats, and he didn't allow Goku to power up because that kind of takes away the equal stats. And I'm like, brings up a valid point. And since Heisei's pretty much the same thing where he can just power himself up and adapt over and over again, what if we take that away from him, because it is equal stats, where Heisei has to stay one power level throughout the fight? Well, I think Final Wars may have a better chance here. He can use his hand-to-hand combat and will have way better of a chance here now, because Heisei's not just gonna eat the punches and just get stronger out of nowhere. Now the punch is gonna do something. So Final Wars is gonna be hitting him the combo of the lifetime, hitting him with that Naruto v Sasuke. Heisei might have to hit him with the atomic pulse to get him off of him. Then Heisei might try to be physical himself, because he did that with Rodan and King Ghidorah. But that's when Final Wars can use his atomic pulse and get Heisei off of him, and then go back to the physical combos or use his own atomic breath. And when Heisei's on the ground, like in pain or trying to recover, he can just throw him into the sky and did what he did in Final Wars. And hit him with that Burning G Spark Ray, and that'll leave Heisei pretty damaged, but Heisei will likely regen if he doesn't die from it. So, but that does put Heisei at a disadvantage there. So that Final Wars will take advantage of that with his higher agility, and he could probably just beat down Heisei while he's there, and Heisei wouldn't be able to adapt like he normally would, which means he'll be on the -1, meanwhile Final Wars is on a +1. So I could see Final Wars, if he uses his hand-to-hand combat and just edges out Heisei in that aspect, and Heisei's not allowed to use his adaptation, I can see Final Wars winning here. What do you think, Cog?
I mean, yeah, I'd probably have to agree with you here. I mean, like, if we take away Heisei's, strongest thing that's going to help him out in this fight, his adaptation here, the regen is not going to do too much, and Final Wars is just going to do, he's just gonna beat up Heisei like Jiren did to Super Saiyan Blue Goku in their first fight. He's not gonna let him get the chance to use any of his moves. And even if he does, Final Wars just gonna duck and dodge, and move up closer and closer until he just boxes Heisei, until Heisei backs out of the fight or just gets pummeled.
Oh, I can hear the comment section typing with fire already. With that aside, I may be the most hated power scaler, but Cog, on the other hand, is the most loved, and I think you guys should go to his channel and show him some love. You got anything to say, Coggy?
I'm not gonna be out here and try and steal your subscribers away, but, if they want to subscribe to me, they're welcome to. They can leave suggestions on what they want to see. I hold polls about, like, on what they want to see power scaled next or in a versus fight. So, you know, they can drop suggestions and anything like that. They can leave questions on scaling videos and all that, and I'll answer.
And with that out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next fight. The beast that does not belong to this world, who fell from the stars, who became the king of the monsters, the one who is many, King Ghidorah. He challenges the authority of the Emperor of Ghidorahs, the Ghidorah who threatened all of life, Kaiser Ghidorah. Which Ghidorah's taking home the crown tonight? Well then, Churro Gang, your most hated power scaler will go over. Oh, wait, hold on. What's that? It's Grimlock!
Yeah. About to have all sorts of fun today, aren't we?
Oh yeah, man, they said Godzilla and Kong was gonna be collab of the year. Nah, it's us!
Yes, sir!
So we will be going over their stats and their feats to determine a true winner. So Monster X took some notes from Frieza, and he hits one of the cleanest transformations in the Godzilla verse. Little kid me was on my knees in disbelief, being like, Ghidorah was in this movie!
Oh my god.
But man, this transformation wasn't nothing. Kaiser became more powerful than Godzilla and gave Godzilla the whooping of a lifetime.
He legit walks over to him after lifting him up with his gravity beams and then proceeds to just like stomp on him.
And what makes this impressive is that Final Wars Goji isn't a pushover. He was able to stop the Gorath meteor, which can get calcs into the multi-continental tiers, but we can argue higher. Dude, Gorath meteor being perceived as a real planet going to destroy Earth. And the humans did believe if they put all their firepower into destroying Gorath, they could stop it. And all their firepower could not stop Godzilla though, and Godzilla is stated to be the most destructive thing on Earth. So we can argue planetary for Final Wars Godzilla, which will then go into Kaiser Ghidorah, who, you know, stomped Final Wars into the living oblivion. And then as for speed, he can be really fast.
Most definitely.
In terms of combat,
I think it's pretty simple. You know, Godzilla actually reacting to the meteor, you know, coming down at those speeds and stuff, you know, and then atomic breath shooting into the atmosphere, colliding with the meteor at the same exact speed. If not, you could probably say faster because the meteor never got to hit the planet.
So we can safely put Kaiser Ghidorah into the bare minimum multi-continental all the way up to large planet / dwarf star. AP and durability metas. Speed-wise, he should be FTL, maybe possibly FTL plus. And his hexes would include gravity manipulation, flight, strength, energy absorption. So he's looking pretty tough. I ain't gonna lie, he's looking pretty tough. But what about Monsterverse Ghidorah? And King Ghidorah Storm, just by existing, is already country level. So bare minimum, he should be multi-continental as well, like Kaiser. But we can argue higher, thanks to good old Monarch, the Legacy of Monsters, with Hollow Earth portals and GVK comparing Godzilla's energy to the entirety of Hollow Earth, which helps further the planetary meta, and some calcs getting this to 300 to 500 zetatons. But let's talk about Monsterverse Ghidorah's speed. He was able to fly from the Bahamas to Mexico in about a few minutes. He was able to fly Godzilla into the stratosphere in only a few seconds. We got to Mach 13 hypersonic speeds. Reaction times, he completely dodges Godzilla's atomic breath, which is relativistic in speed. So he should be at least relativistic bare minimum to also FTO, with his abilities being electricity manipulation, energy absorption, heavy strength, flight, and many other abilities such as high regeneration. But yeah, that's their stats, and that's some of their feats. But the question is, Grimlock, who do you think wins?
Goes to fly at Godzilla, grabs him by everything, lifts him up into the air. That is some hatred. I'm just saying, that is some hatred. Now, I don't see him doing that to Kaiser Ghidorah because not only the heads and stuff, but because in durability, they're pretty comparable. It's just that Monsterverse Ghidorah has the regen. But I will say this though, Kaiser Ghidorah does have the better gravity beams. In terms of how I really see it, Monsterverse Ghidorah is eventually going to have to get close because, again, he does hold the flight advantage that was established earlier. He has the storm, he can manipulate it, he could probably make it difficult for Kaiser Ghidorah to even get in the air. And then there's also the, I'll probably say he's definitely a bit stronger. You know, the weight behind his attack potency should help out a decent margin. But I don't know. I don't see him getting a clear win because of the anti-gravity beams. I do think that could negate like a lot of things around him. Kaiser Ghidorah could easily just push him around, probably even, negate the weight factor just by anti-gravity.
I think Monsterverse has the more consistent higher ends in planetary, so maybe even in that case, Monsterverse Ghidorah will win. But if we use their more closeness like the large planet metas, well then I say Kaiser Ghidorah with his speed advantage, because I gave King Ghidorah some benefit here with being faster than Mechagodzilla. He's only a little bit FTL. Meanwhile, Kaiser's definitely FTL and arguably a lot higher into it, which would just speed blitz Monsterverse Ghidorah, and he's gonna get hit with the gravity beams, anti-gravity beams, and thrown around like Final Wars Godzilla was. He's gonna be treated like how Fish Trick was treated by Graviton. He's just gonna be thrown all about and everywhere, and he just can't fight back. Not only can't fight back, but he just doesn't know what's happening because the anti-gravity beams are just so fast compared to his reaction time. He's just literally getting flung around the place, and he has no idea why. So Kaiser Ghidorah could slowly beat down into him. So his best bet would to be like body Monsterverse Ghidorah is so bad that he's knocked out, and he can try to drain the energy out of him. What do you guys think, Churro Gang? Do you guys think Grimlock and I were yapping? Or were we? But with that all the way, make sure to subscribe to my dog, Grimlock. He also upload a bunch of kaiju stuff and other related things that you guys would be interested in. Help my boy out. Get him up there because he uploads very consistently. You guys will love his content. Y'all remember in the older videos, I was always on this game? Man, that takes me back. What else I used to have in my videos all the time? Can't really remember.
Was it me, man? I was there.
Who are you again? Yeah, I don't think it was you, gang.
Oh, no. I think you were talking about me, King Churros.
Who? Nah, it wasn't you either. It was something more classy, you know what I mean? Ah, yeah, that's what we talking about. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Hey, Goonies! What happens when two cyborgs of two classic Showa characters go head-to-head in an all-out battle?
I don't care. I don't want to be in this video.
Don't worry, King Churros, I'm here.
Well, I guess I could take what I can get. Let's go. This fight was requested by this fantastic individual here, and I must say, I think you suggested a banger. I think this will be a cool fight. Starting with Kiryu, Kiryu is the exact opposite of the lesson of GMK. Like, they did not learn anything. Necromancy aside, Kiryu is a walking gun, tank, jet, battleship, Bluetooth, Apple, Samsung 3000, having a ton of weapons, one of which includes the Absolute Zero, a weapon capable of freezing an opponent at absolute zero. Duh. But most importantly, at a subatomic level, with Kiryu and Kiryu Goji withstanding that explosion, this feat comes in at 513 petatons to 1.5 exatons, which is high-end multi-continental. To get Kiryu even stronger, you can use the interpretation that Kiryu Godzilla is above the Oxygen Destroyer, which equates to 13 exatons, still multi-continental. And in Tokyo SOS, Kiryu got even more powerful. With this higher end interpretation, Kiryu should be above 13 exatons, to an unquantifiable degree.
Final Wars guy again. Well, listen here, everybody. This guy's definitely on that snow powder. Definitely listens to heavy metal too, to an extent.
Get it? Heavy metal?
That was a pretty good one. Anyway, Final Wars Gigan is definitely insane. Some would say that he wiped out Atlantis, vaporizing it with his scattered light cluster. This equals 4 exatons, bigger than...
But how could you forget about the times he withstood Godzilla's AP? Some of the time. Either way, taking that one hit with no major injuries helps put Gigan on Goji's tier. There we go. That's English. You know, the same Godzilla that withstood the Oxygen Destroyer and proceeded to get stronger from then on. And also proceeded to clap Monster X's cheeks. So he should be in the ballpark of 9 to 13 exatons. So high and multi-continental. Looks like both are pretty close in power, but that doesn't mean they're the same in speed. Whoosha, whoosha.
Kiryu outright dodges Godzilla's atomic breath. His atomic breath being made of pure radiation, it can be argued to travel at light speed. Kiryu reacting to this beam after it's been fired would get him to relativistic to FTL. Final Wars Gigan can fight with Godzilla and be on par with Monster X, both of which can react to each other's beams. Final Wars beam having a speed calculation of 65% the speed of light, which is relativistic plus.
Final Wars saw that the joint in slow motion and with the calculation from GK's OTM. This bumps their reaction time faster than light, definitely faster than Rodan though.
Kiryu gotta chill out with all of his weaponry. Blood Eater trying to be Cyborg or the next Punisher of the Kaiju universe. He has railguns, maser cannons, drill claws, missiles, jet boosters, the absolute zero cannon, which must I remind you freezes an opponent at a subatomic level, turning them into Captain America.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but churros. Gigan got that thing on him. Buzzsaws, razor discs, flight, scattered beam light cluster, your mom's cell phone number, and of course, his infamous. You already know.
Alright guys, we went over their stats and their feats. But who comes out on top in this battle? I think I want to start off with Milk. Who you think wins?
He has some good hits. I think overall Gigan can take most of them and deliver more. Also, you saw how Gigan fought with Mothra. The only reason why Gigan lost is because he's kind of dumb. But I think he'll be alright. I think my boy got this.
Hey Dez, who do you think wins?
That's actually kind of hard because even though both have good qualities, I honestly want to believe that Gigan would win. Gigan would win. It's, well, not his normal version, but definitely maybe his Final Wars version. Because unlike his regular version, his Final Wars version actually has more qualities, more kick to it per se.
Alright, Quizler, who do you think wins?
Gigan has them cables. I'm sure Gigan can lift up Kiryu as much as they can. Drop him to the sky like in the scene of King of the Monsters when Ghidorah lifted up Godzilla, plunged him into the earth.
So I think I'm gonna be with the majority of the group and say Final Wars Gigan wins, and I have that. And this comes down to him having some better higher ends. So I didn't mention a planetary meta. I kept them more so in the multi-continental era because it would be a lot closer in that aspect. And that's when the fight gets really interesting. But if I'm including their higher ends, Gigan has that planetary meta because he's been said to destroy the world, maybe. If this is exaggerating, I'm unsure, but could be literal, as Final Wars Godzilla also has similar statements. And he has some feats to back it, although that is in his heavenly form, and Gigan definitely doesn't scale to that. But there is a planetary meta for Final Wars, and Gigan would be in that tier as he's in the top 4 of the strongest monsters in said movie. So he would outscale Kiryu's, small moon, multi-continental era with his planetary meta. So Gigan not only just being a lot larger, but he could just probably outrange Kiryu with his little hooks things, pull him in, blast him, and he's just gone. So I would have to give it, if going high end, I'm definitely giving it to Gigan. So I could see it going pretty close with each other in their multi-continental series, but of course, adding in that final higher end, Gigan should take the W here.